All right, so you ready to dig in? Today we're diving deep into the life and legacy of a guy you've definitely heard of, Bob Marley. Most people know him for No Woman, No Cry and Three Little Birds, the hits, but we're going way past the surface level.
Exactly. We're going to get into what made him tick, what drove his music, his message. We've got some really interesting stuff from Texto Colado that sheds light on, the real Bob Marley, the man behind the legend.
Yeah, this Texto Colado stuff is pretty insightful. So Bob Marley, he starts in rural Jamaica, right?
Hmm.
Born in a small village, but things weren't like all sunshine and rainbows, were they? I mean, he was biracial in a time when that wasn't exactly widely accepted. And his dad, a British naval officer, wasn't really in the picture.
Yeah, that's a really important point to consider. That feeling of being between two worlds, not fully belonging to either, it definitely influenced his music and worldview. I mean, you can see it in his lyrics. He often talks about identity, about belonging.
Yeah, it kind of makes you think, right? Like maybe that early experience of feeling like an outsider fueled his passion for social justice later on.
Oh, absolutely. I think those early experiences definitely shaped his perspective.
So he ends up in Frenchtown, which, I mean, even back then was a pretty rough neighborhood in Kingston.
Yeah, really rough.
But it was also this incredible hub for creativity.
It was. It was like this melting pot of musical talent and energy. And this is where Bob Marley really hones his craft. He forms the Wailers there, and they start with ska, then rocksteady, which were huge in Jamaica then.
Right. And then they transitioned to reggae, which
Mhm.
basically becomes synonymous with Marley.
Totally.
But, I mean, it wasn't just like a musical evolution, was it? It
Mm.
felt like reggae was almost like tailor-made to express what Jamaica was going through at the time: poverty, inequality, political turmoil.
Yeah, you're spot on. Reggae, it was this raw, powerful sound. It spoke to the struggles and hopes of a nation that was, trying to find its footing.
Totally. And as reggae blows up, so does Bob Marley. He becomes this global voice for the voiceless, singing about the realities of life in Jamaica. And then, 1976, bam, assassination attempt.
Oh man, terrifying. It was clearly politically motivated.
He and his wife, Frida, they were both injured. But here's the crazy part. 2 days later, he's on stage at the Smile Jamaica concert.
I know, right? That's insane. Imagine the courage it took to do that after something so traumatic. But that just shows you his dedication, his commitment to peace, his unwavering spirit.
I mean, talk about resilience. He's a force to be reckoned with. And then, after all that, he leaves Jamaica, heads to London. That's where he records Exodus.
Exodus, man, that's considered one of the greatest albums of all time, and for good reason.
It's more than just an album, it's a statement.
Exactly. It's got everything. Jamming, Three Little Birds, those capture this, irrepressible joy and resilience.
And then you have Exodus itself and Natural Mystic, these really deep, philosophical, spiritual tracks.
And of course, you can't forget One Love. That song became an anthem for peace and unity, not just in Jamaica, but all over the world.
Yeah. It really feels like his time in London, that's when he truly becomes a global icon. But he doesn't forget where he came from.
Nope.
He goes back to Jamaica in 78,
Yeah.
holds the One Love Peace concert.
That concert wasn't just about music. It was about something bigger. It was about using music as a force for change. I mean, the image of Bob Marley uniting rival political leaders on stage, getting them to shake hands.
Wow, yeah.
That's powerful. It shows you the power of music to bring people together.
Chills, man. Absolutely chills. So then, just a few years later, he's diagnosed with melanoma.
Tragic.
And he refuses amputation because of his Rastafarian beliefs.
Right.
It's heavy stuff. You can feel that sense of urgency, that reflection in his last album, Uprising.
Yeah, Uprising is a really special album, especially Redemption Song. It's just him, his guitar, raw emotion. It's like this final statement, a culmination of his philosophy, his hopes, his struggles.
It's hard to believe he was only 36 when he died. His life was way too short, but his legacy is huge.
Yeah, his music is still so relevant today. It still inspires people all around the world, those messages of love, unity, social justice.
It's amazing how his music transcends time and borders.
Yeah.
Another thing that struck me while reading this Texto Colado was that there are still so many different versions of his story floating around.
Oh, yeah. There's the official narrative, and then there are the stories from people who knew him.
It's like, even with icons, there's this carefully curated image that might not tell the whole story.
Exactly.
So as we wrap up our deep dive into Bob Marley, it's not just about the music. It's about the man, his journey, his convictions. What stands out to you? What do you think is the most important part of his legacy? Let us know what you think.
I'm really curious to hear what resonates with people. What parts of his life or music still speak to them today?
Yeah, let's keep the conversation going. Think about it. And until next time.
Peace out.